How can I stop absorbing other people's bad energy? How can you shield yourself from the heavy energy many people have?
Zonas, casi sin darse cuenta. Hoy vamos a hacer algo serio, una auténtica masterclass para entender
What energy vampirism is. And above all, what you can do so it doesn't affect you. First, something key, and here there are no exceptions. We are all energy vampires at some point in our lives. When your frequency drops, when negative emotions take hold of you, when you're drained without bad intentions, you end up absorbing energy from someone who vibrates higher than you. This isn't about good or bad people, it's about energetic states. And in this masterclass, you're going to understand it clearly. With metaphysical exercises that I've prepared and with very clear examples, the kind that make you say, that's why this happens to me. Because we've all experienced the same thing. You arrive at a meeting with good energy. The other person arrives feeling down, burdened, pessimistic. You talk for a while, and without realizing it, something changes. You leave feeling more tired, heavier, with less motivation, with doubts that weren't there before. It's not your imagination, it's energetic interaction. When two energy fields come into contact, they always influence each other. And here's the important part. What we call energy vampirism is not an attack, it's a rebalancing. A basic principle of homeostasis. Everything tends to balance itself out. If one person vibrates high and the other vibrates low, when they interact, the system looks for a middle point. Result? The person with more energy drops to a lower level. The one who was lower gets recharged. There is no dark magic. There is the physics of energy. That's why, after the encounter, you feel drained, down, mentally foggier. Sometimes even with fears that weren't yours, there has been an exchange, inevitable. And this happens constantly, in every relationship, in every conversation, in every environment you step into. The places, the people, the information you consume, everything enters your field and modifies your frequency. Masaru Emoto already proved it with the water experiments. Negative words deformed the molecules. They lost harmony. They became chaotic. And now think about this. The human being is, for the most part, water. We are multidimensional beings, right? But on a physical level, we are made mostly of water. So when someone shows up with pessimistic, heavy, or negative energy, it doesn't just affect you emotionally, it affects your structure. Your frequency drops, your energy drops. The same thing happens when you consume negative information without a filter. Exactly the same. Every human being emits an energy field, just like plants, animals too, minerals too. An electromagnetic field in the shape of a toroid that we constantly project according to how we think, feel, and act. That's vibration. You are an antenna you send out and take in all the time. It depends on what you focus on, who you surround yourself with, and what you let into your field. That's why it's essential to understand these basics, these metaphysical principles, because without this being clear, nothing that comes after would make sense. If everything is energy, frequency, and vibration, then this is simple. If you understand how it works, you learn how to protect yourself. When you're with someone who vibrates at a low frequency, someone who lives in fear, guilt, and victimhood, you don't need to guess what will happen. The same thing I just explained happens. Energetic vampirism, or to put it less dramatically, rebalancing. In any human relationship, energy seeks to balance itself, always. The one who comes with less takes. The one who comes with more gives. And that's when you notice how your energy starts to drop when the other person stays at a dense frequency. Now, there's something that makes all of this worse. Emotions. In this matrix, emotions are a trap. Why? Because they create energetic bonds, invisible bonds that tie us to people, situations, memories. Those bonds come out of your solar plexus, and they attach to the solar plexus of the other person. Family, partner, friends, co-workers, acquaintances. Whenever there is emotion, there is a bond. That's attachment, and attachment creates imbalance. That's why very empathetic people tend to suffer more. Not because they feel too much, but because they don't know how to remain neutral. When there is no emotional equanimity, empathy turns into absorption. They feel what the other feels, they live what the other lives, and without realizing it, they lose their center. Not because they are weak, but because they haven't learned to observe without sinking. Healthy empathy is not carrying someone else's pain. It's understanding it without making it your own. And it's important to make this clear. It's not about becoming cold or indifferent. It's not about disconnecting from the world. It's about helping without sinking yourself. To support without getting entangled. To love without clinging. To give advice. To offer your presence. To give relief. But from emotional detachment. Because the moment you let yourself get carried away by someone else's emotions, you lose your inner harmony. And that's where imbalance begins. That's why, when dealing with low-frequency people, the greatest protection is not to run away. It's emotional equanimity. That's the real armor, and it can be trained, it can be learned, it can be strengthened. Now I'm going to explain how to recognize when someone is draining your energy, because many times it happens without you being aware of it. However, if you're cleansing your energy but still feeding your mind with noise, drama, and other people's voices, something doesn't add up. What you listen to is also energy. Audible gives you 30 days free to change the type of vibration that enters your field. Audiobooks that strengthen you instead of draining you. The link is in the description. Use it as a shield, not as a distraction. On the other hand, the signs are clear. Sudden exhaustion, tiredness without explanation. A feeling of heaviness after talking to that person. The body always gives a warning. Pressure in your chest, a knot in your stomach, physical discomfort when you're near. That's not a coincidence. It's information. And many times you don't know why it happens, but it happens. Your body is talking to you. It's your compass. Headache is one of the most common warnings. You were fine. You meet with that person. And after a few minutes, it appears. Stomach pain, muscle tension, tense shoulders, stiff back, stiff neck, or the classic one. Suddenly the body closes up. And it's telling you something very clear. That energy is not doing you any good. Thoughts also appear that you don't recognize as your own. Negative ideas that weren't there before. Strange emotions, out of place. Difficulty concentrating. The meeting ends, you go back to your routine, and you can't focus. You get distracted, you procrastinate. You become passive, apathetic, lazy. All of those are signs, clear indicators of energy vampirism. And it's important to learn how to read them. Now I'm going to give you 5 recommendations to protect yourself from others and from yourself too. Because let's be honest, everyone's frequency drops sometimes. It's not about thinking you're enlightened and surrounded by toxic people. That's just another ego trap. This happens to all of us. We are in constant emotional fluctuation, and the work is to learn how to manage it. First recommendation, shield your aura. Shielding your energy field is the foundation. It's what protects you the most. And how do you do it? With creative visualization and affirmations. Visualize your soul energy coming out from your solar plexus, expanding throughout your whole body, going beyond your physical body. See yourself wrapped in your own energy, like a bubble, like a luminous egg that surrounds all your bodies, even the most subtle ones. And there you declare, nothing and no one can affect my soul energy. Nothing and no one can drain my energy. Visualization plus decree. That combination is key. Do it especially when you know you're going to be with someone carrying a lot of heavy energy, stuck in negativity, playing the victim, or constantly complaining. But before I reveal the next recommendation, if you've made it this far, it's not a coincidence. Most people would have already switched to another video. Write in the comments, "I take care of my energy, not for me," so that your nervous system hears it. If you write it, it's because you no longer play at the same level. Second recommendation, cutting energetic ties. This is one of the most powerful exercises. All emotional bonds create ties. Family, partner, friends, people with whom you experience something intense. It doesn't matter if it was good or bad. The important thing is to cut the attachment. The exercise is simple but profound. You visualize the person in front of you. You imagine the bond that connects your solar plexuses, and you make the cut, first in their field, then in yours, and you decree, "I cut, and I eliminate and cancel any bond that connects me to this person on a physical level, mental, emotional, energetic, spiritual, and etheric, total cut, multi-dimensional." This is not rejection, it's energetic hygiene, and it works. Third recommendation, stay neutral. What we've talked about today. Emotional equanimity. It helps, yes. Listening, yes. Be there for them too. But without losing your center. Unbalanced empathy drains you. Conscious empathy protects you. Love, without attachment. Support, without getting pulled under. Don't lose your inner harmony to save anyone. Fourth recommendation, train before the encounter. Prepare for the meeting in advance. Don't wait for the energy vampire to arrive to react. Train daily. Take care of your physical body. Take care of your mind. Take care of your emotional field, meditation, mental relaxation. Observe your own imbalances. We all have weak points. The difference is in knowing them and working on them before someone triggers them. Do activities that raise your energy. Take care of your habits. Stay well hydrated. Eat better. Rest. Move. Train your body. All of that is not well-being. It's energetic preparation. Because when the encounter happens, it's already too late to improvise. A strong field protects you automatically. Your aura is your first line of defense against any form of energetic vampirism. That's why it's key to observe yourself, to truly know yourself. If you don't know how you react, you won't understand why others affect you. And here comes another fundamental rule: setting boundaries. Energetic boundaries with the shielding I've already explained to you, and physical boundaries if necessary. People who invade, who drain, who take advantage of your willingness to listen, your time, your energy. Learning to say no is not selfishness, it's self-love. Stopping being an emotional sponge is an act of respect toward yourself. These are basic recommendations for energetic self-protection. Simple, practical, effective. And now I leave you with an uncomfortable question, one of those that are not easily forgotten. How much energy isn't yours, yet you keep carrying it every day as if it were? Because learning to protect yourself changes your state. Imagine what happens when you start to identify who drains you, how they do it, and from exactly which point in your energy field. Most people never lose energy for no reason. They always lose it from the same place, through the same crack, through the same invisible pattern. And that's what almost nobody sees. In the next video, I'm going to show you what the most vulnerable points in your energy field are and where interference gets in. And how can you know without a doubt if a person, a place, or even a memory is stealing your vital energy right now? Because when you understand that, you stop just surviving and you start to regain your power. See you in the next video.